What is going on, snooze babes? How are all you beautiful people doing today? As I promised on my Twitter, I did not stream the Crown Tundra, but I wanted to give my thoughts about the Crown Tundra now that I've completed it and played it for a couple days. So here we go. So really quick, if you just want to know an overall rating of what I've thought of the Crown Tundra, I would give it honestly an 8 out of 10. I thought it was great. And if you'd want to know why I think that, then stick around as I'll explain more of my thoughts as we go through the video. So the very first point that I want to say that I really enjoyed about the Crown Tundra was the music. We're in Freezington right now, and I love Freezington's music. The whole music of the Crown Tundra just felt very magical to me, which is what really made me even more excited for the Crown Tundra. Was the magical, mystical, soft, snowy landscape music that just kind of really draws you in. I loved it. I thought it was really well composed, and all the new battle music for the birds and the reggies and all that I thought was really fun, and I just think they did a great job on the music overall. So the next point that I want to talk about is the legendary birds, like the Galarian forms. I think that was such a cool thing to do. The legendary trio birds have been such a popular trio since the beginning of Pokemon, and bringing them back and giving them some new forms really excited me to see honestly see how good they would be competitively, but also just how if they'd have any new moves, because I know they give new moves to Pokemon, and what that would be if their typings would still be the same. And they mixed it up a little bit, gave them that new look, and actually made them pretty competitively viable on the right teams. And so I loved that, and I also really loved chasing them around in overworld capture, roaming legendaries, which is so cool. I can't remember the last time I actually hunted down a roaming legendary since even Soul Silver, with the dogs. I think that's the last time they did that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it just really brought me back to trying to run around and catch the legendary trio, and to catch Latios and Latias. And I just thought it was so cool just to see him flying around, and it's just so magical and mystical seeing this Moltres just flying around the Isle of Armor. The next point that I loved about the Crown Tundra that made me really enjoy this game was actually the Galarian Star Tournament. When I first saw it, I wasn't really too enthralled with the tournament. I thought it was just going to be another Elite Four-esque thing where you just go through it just to farm money, which in a sense it is. But the first time I played through it, I really enjoyed the interaction between the characters. I really loved the cutscenes. And it was just a really great ending to Sword and Shield. When the credits played and they had the band play again, the Rillaboom and the Toxtricity and the Obstagoon, I felt sad because I knew that this was the peak of Sword and Shield, and that basically the game developed, the game is over. There's not going to be any more DLCs. Now we're just waiting for the new game to come out. And it made me sad because I really loved Sword and Shield as a whole, but the Crown Tundra really was just the cherry on top for me. I thought it was so great. The next point is the reggies. So the reggies were so cool because in Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, I remember being a little kid and coming across these random caves and having to learn what Braille is and how to read it, and doing that crazy puzzle just to get to these reggies. They were so crazy cool to me just because of what I had to do to get them. And I had no idea they existed until I just happened to walk into a cave by accident. And so the puzzles weren't necessarily hard to get to the reggies, except for the whistle one. That one took me a little bit to figure out, but I ended up just mashing some buttons and I whistled and I was like, oh heck yeah, I made it in, let's go. But it was really cool to kind of do those puzzles again, and it was also even cooler to have the Regidrago and Regieleki being added and have them being actually pretty strong. I love Regieleki, and it's honestly one of my favorite little Pokemon as it skips around on its tiny little legs. and it's super fast, and it's actually really strong with its ability, and so using it's been really fun. I've been playing with it recently, and I just thought it was cool that they've added these new things to these trio Pokemon that we've known for so many years. The last thing in the Crown Tundra that I want to talk about is some of the things that I wish they could have done a little bit better, which is why I didn't give it like a 10 out of 10. I felt like the story itself was incredibly short, and I didn't feel like there was much structure to it. Like, yeah, you talk to Peony, and he gives you these clues to go around and try to find these legendary Pokemon, but it almost just felt like, it didn't really feel like a story to me, because you meet Peony in the beginning, and there's this thing with his daughter, and that's about it, and then you're just on your own, you know, and he shows up to be like a rag doll for Calyrex. And so I felt like the story could have had a little bit more structure to it, a little bit more direction as you go through the Crown Tundra, instead of just like, you can do anything whatever way you want. There is no reason to unlock anything. You just, oh, I want to go check out this tree. Oh, the birds are there. Oh, Peony calls you. Oh, sick. Like, I wish it would have been more like, first you have to help Calyrex, and then Calyrex gives you something to help you unlock the, you know, the doors to the whatever, and then you could have to do a puzzle, or then once you get the Reggies, you have to have all the Reggies, and then that summons the birds, like something like that. I think I would have enjoyed more. I didn't expect like a ton of story out of the DLC, because it's obviously just a DLC, but I would have liked a little bit more structure to the whole thing. I also, the max raid adventures are fun, but I really just dislike legendary Pokemon, mostly because I play competitively, and I just don't want to see, I have 6 Palkias, I have 15 Landorus's, I have like, I don't need more. Like, it just, I feel like there could have been something else there, instead of just like, let's go catch legendaries again for the 15th millionth time, especially since we can just transfer them over through home and give them the battle ready mark and just use them if we already have them. Obviously they have to find a way to like hand out the legendaries to people that don't have a million of them, but for people like me that have been playing for a long time, I got more than enough legendaries, and I've had my fill with, you know, Xerneas and Groudon and all that, and so wasn't really too thrilled about that. And kind of after I beat the story, I was like, well, I don't really care about doing the raids, because what do I get from them, you know? The last thing that I kind of had qualms with was the insane pricing of the ability patch. I know it's supposed to be a rare item, but 200 of the ore, like, that's crazy, especially when you only get 6 for doing like the raids. I feel like they could have easily made that a BP item for like 300 BP if they wanted to. That, I feel like that's way easier to get almost, because of how much BP they give you if you make it to Master Ball and ranked battles, and it still is like quite a good chunk, but it's not like you have to grind and grind and grind to get it. So a little bit disappointed with how they decided to do the ability patch, and I feel like it just could have been done better. But like I said, overall I give the Crown Tundra an 8 out of 10, a cherry on top to Pokemon Sword and Shield. Honestly, Pokemon Sword and Shield are one of my all-time favorite Pokemon games right now, like top 3 easily. I love Gen 3, that'll always be my favorite. Emerald is always going to be my favorite game, and then I loved the Black and White series. I just count them as the same ones. Black and White 2, and then honestly it's probably Sword and Shield. These games have been phenomenal. Crown Tundra was great, and I had a great time playing it, and I really am looking forward to using the new Pokemon on the ranked battles and to see what happens in the future. But I think whatever comes next, we're going to be very happy with. So that was my thoughts on the Crown Tundra, guys. Thanks for watching. If you haven't played the Crown Tundra, I highly recommend you do. It was so much fun for me, and I just really thought it was just a magical experience. So thanks for watching again, and we'll see you guys in the next one.